Hi there, Aaron here. Wanted to send an update on the improvements to the parking spaces that were made this morning. So I'm going to jump to a site plan, and I've already loaded them in for the demonstration. The first thing that you'll notice is that the accessible parking space used to be called single. It's now called single or double. Uh, it still works the same way, so that when you drag in a parking spot, uh, it's well typically it can come in as a single spot. It now has an instance parameter for does a second spot exist, because as you know they can share the accessible lane. So checking that box will allow it to have the second spot, and it will now schedule itself as two parking spots. All of the other visibility parameters will still work for the different stripes. Even if the second spot is not there, then the visibility parameter will work for the stripe on the outside of the accessible lane. It'll work at all the different degrees. So if you have the 45 degree with the smaller drive aisle, you can still tack on the second space. And of course, if you need to mirror these things and the symbols are backwards, you can then use the flip HC symbol and it will flip them both as well, whether that spot is there or not. So that's the first change to the accessible spots. There were a few changes to the single spot as well. So it is normally just a blank parking spot, but it does now have controls to allow it to also be like a compact spot. Where there is an actual symbol that comes in that says compact. The symbol itself is a different family. That way we can make different ones. So you could have a compact spot. We've made 3 by default, so you could have a compact, you could have an electric vehicle spot. And then here you can change in the selector what it is. And so you'll see we have an EV charging symbol. So, and they're just letters that show up, and EV is probably not an 8x16, but again, you can change the sizes in the type properties to get it back to a full-size spot or an angled spot or whatever else you like. And we also made one that was called expectant mothers. So again, let's assume that's a 9x18 because it's a full spot. And you want to be changing the descriptions too, which I haven't been doing, but so if you've changed that to 9x18 and then you move this to the expectant mother symbol, you'll get the MO. So if you decide that you want to make a different symbol to use, it's a really simple family. It's just a piece of model text. So you can change it after doing a save as and load it back in, and it will be selectable in your parking spot. Okay, so we kind of put all of this information together into the linear row parking spot. And so there are now normal parking spaces, parallel parking spaces, expectant mothers, electric charging, and compacts. So if you were to grab the compact parking space and draw the row of it, you would get a row of compact parking spaces. You'll see here that this is now a spot that's called 8x16 compact. If you were to use the electric charging 70 degrees, you would see them as electric vehicle 70s. And then, of course, you still have your normals that are stripes with no symbols at all. If you decide you want to make new types, these are a little more complex. You can duplicate to create the new type, and then you can change the size and the angle right here. There is a selector similar to the selector in the single spot, but what's tough about this is you're selecting a whole nested parking spot that goes in there. So we've created the EV and the EM and the compact spot as the nested only family. So if you did want to make another one, let's say you created your own symbol, still totally doable in a couple of minutes. You've got your actual nested parking spot is down in the browser. All you have to do is come down here and make your own type, Aaron's new type. And in that, you can now pick what the new symbol is going to be. So maybe instead of the expectant mother, I was actually, even though this is completely not legit parking wise. Let's say I wanted to make one that was accessible, right? Now Aaron's new type will be available as a selector in this drop down right here. So you can pick Aaron's new type, and you'll see, as bad as this is, that your accessibility symbol will now show up. So it is possible to make your own. It's just the one extra step with the linear array of you have to create the nested parking spot to put into the linear array. Hope that makes sense, and let me know if you have any questions. They should be on the R drive by the time you see this video. Have a good weekend.